what does one glean, Bob, from Nick Saban at this point in his career, sitting down with him, Bob?
Well, we talked a little bit about his background. I'd read a couple of his books, and he has an interesting and somewhat poignant backstory, his childhood and his early coaching career. Talked a little bit about his relationship with Bill Belichick, and I asked him an obvious question. What happens if you give Belichick all of your recruits and personnel for this run of years, and you take all of the same Patriots personnel? And so he answered that question. It's kind of interesting. But most of the focus, and it's a lengthy interview, and that's one of the things that brings me back to HBO, the chance to do commentaries and a little bit of journalism and long-form interviews. I like that. So it's probably 17, 18 minutes long once we edited it down. And most of it concentrates on the seismic changes taking place in college sports in general and college football in particular, and who better to address that than Nick Saban, and he was pretty good on all those subjects.
Well, I mean, what he said about Texas A&M was quite something. Did you bring that one up with him?
Absolutely, brought up Jimbo Fisher, and he very straightforwardly said, I shouldn't have said what I did. I called to apologize. At first he didn't take that call, but then we saw each other at the SEC meetings sometime after that, and we're good going forward. And I reminded him, I think they play on October 8th.
Yes, they do.
In Tuscaloosa, and I reminded him that even if you two say you're good, I want to put it behind you and it's all about the players, that's not the way this thing is going to be covered. And he recognized that. And he said that his point was about name, image, and likeness. He's all in favor of name, image, and likeness, but the players should not, in his view, be able to capitalize on that until they arrive on campus. It shouldn't be used as a recruiting tool. And even if it's technically allowed in some cases, he believes that that will create additional chaos if it's specifically being used as a recruiting tool. You say to a kid and his parents, look, we guarantee you, there's a car dealership here in small town, whatever this university is in, guarantee you $100,000 right off the bat before he goes to a class. That was his concern, and he said he should have couched it that way and in a more general way and not mention Fisher or Texas A&M.
No, but we all know where this is going. I mean, this is professional sports, Bob. It really is. I mean, the Big Ten just signed a contract with not one, not two, but three different television networks for over $1 billion a year. That's right on par with Major League Baseball's contract with ESPN and Fox. And Jim Harbaugh, my coach at Michigan, says he thinks that players should get a piece of the television revenue. And once that happens, unionization is right around the corner. I mean,
correct
if these
on all
things
those counts, and maybe the Pac-12 merging with the Big Ten, the numbers 12 and 10 being irrelevant at this point,
right,
and creating two separate divisions, an Eastern and Midwest division and a Rocky Mountain, and I don't know, whatever the hell it is, creating two separate divisions, but they're merged. Either way, the public demands the traditional encounter between USC and Rutgers, so they'll get that.
I haven't been around the East Coast too often, Bob. Are you hearing that? You're hearing that walking around New York City? That drumbeat?
The excitement is palpable.
Nothing gets the juices flowing quite like New Brunswick versus Beverly Hills. You know what I'm saying? Those are the recruiting wars right there.
There are cultural resentments there that just bubble to the surface.